utilizing a wall to help and improve on mid-thoracic spine extension for the overhead position, specifically for the overhead athlete, is quite critical. If I place myself in this position here and round my low back and around the thoracic spine, the arm will be limited in its ability to move overhead. This is a result of the ribs, much like a bucket handle, being positioned down. This flares the rib as it inserts into the spine or originates from the spine and doesn't allow the scapula to move around it. So without the scapula being allowed to move freely through the side and upward on the edge of the ribs, the scapula will be limited, and so too will be the arm's overhead posture. This is because the arm and the scapula both use motion that's performed together to create an overhead pattern. We call this the scapulohumeral rhythm. It's a 2-to-1 ratio where the arm moves twice the distance that the shoulder blade does, meaning the arm can move 120 degrees, twice that of the 60 degrees of the scapula. And when we combine the two together, we end up with 180 degrees. So back to the point. With the lumbar being rounded and the thoracic spine being rounded, I'm limited in overhead position. If I could not use my thoracic spine, I could still use my lumbar to create the presence of overhead posture. But as we know, this will lead to having low back pain during an overhead position. So if I maintain the rounding of the spine and then attempt to increase the extension of the thoracic spine, this can allow me some contextual information to start allowing for those segments of the spine to move more freely. Understand that those segments may already have enough motion in them, but because of how the muscles of the scapula use the spine itself as an anchor point to create tension and stability, if they're constantly being placed on a form of contraction, the spine itself won't move very well. And this can occur when there is weakness of the mid and lower trapezius. So, a wall can be brought into the scenario. Either in this position or in this position, the arms can be brought to the wall with a slight press away. From this press away position, I can now round the lumbar and raise the lumbar. This will allow me to maintain my arms on the wall and just start moving the segments below so that the stability is coming from segments above and the mobility is coming from segments below. This could also be used to introduce cervical retraction, helping to further influence away from this bad posture of the head to this more neutral posture, which requires more control of the mid-back. The exercise would be arms on wall, press away, begin to move the pelvis. Hold this position for about 5 to 10 seconds. Include the neck if the head is in a forward position and perform the same activity.